Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to hopefully this isn't a Chipmunk episode of This Is Our Life.
And he was swallowed the chipmunk.
Yeah, Lucky's still in my lap, but he's kind of napping. So hopefully this video will work. I mean,
I don't know what the heck you did, but that doesn't sound right.
So anyway, what I tried to do in the last video was expand on what I did during the First World War. As you may know from watching other videos, one thing that my infantry unit I was with, one thing we did was when we got a new guy in, after he went to sleep, what little sleep we got in the trenches, we would switch into German uniforms, and of course we would take the new guy's gun away because we didn't want to get shot, and we would switch into German uniforms. And when the guy would wake up, we'd start speaking in German. And you learn quite a bit of German while you're in the trenches, because the German soldiers on the other side, they're yelling at you just like we yelled at them. And, it would really freak them out. The new guys would really freak out. And we wouldn't tell them right away that, we were just pulling a prank on them. Anyway, so once we got R&R, we were sent quite a ways behind the front, and you had coffee and some donuts, and got to sleep in tents instead of in the mud in the trenches. And anyway, I got to see an aerodrome for the first time, which today we might call it an airport or something like that. It was just an airfield, really. And I befriended one of the pilots. He was an ace. He was an ace pilot. He had shot down over 13 different enemy aircraft. Anyway, he took me up and he let me fly his aircraft. He was in a Sopwith Camel, and he let me fly it. And I flew it for about 20 minutes. When we got back, I even assisted in the landing, which was pretty cool, or it was a little scary. He went to his commander and told his commander that I was pretty good behind in the plane, behind the engine, and so they approved me for air pilot training. So I did that. Anyway, I flew for a couple of months and we came up with this great idea. If two wings produce greater lift than a single wing, and if three wings produce greater lift than a biplane and two wings, why not 5 wings, and you would get even greater lift? And it was true. It got great lift. I mean, my gosh, 20 feet, and I was in the air. 20 feet, and I'm only going like 80 miles an hour, and that was fast back in those days. Anyway, so I'm going up, and I'm going up and up, and no matter what I did, I tried to level out, tried to point the nose down, tried to turn, nothing. I just kept going up. Thankfully, I had on a parachute. It was a relatively early parachute design. Although parachutes have been around since the 1700s. Oh no, 1700s or earlier than that, I think. Anyway, but I had on a parachute, and I was able to jump out, but I stayed in that plane. Hey, I'm the one who developed it, so I figure, I'd better get this thing working, or I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. But once I got back to the ground, the guys were saying they were estimating that I had gone about 30 to 35,000 feet, and it was cold up there, and it was kind of hard to breathe too. But I parachuted out, but it was a 5-winged aircraft, and it was supposed to be like the greatest fighter ever. It had all sorts of, had machine guns 2 machine guns on each side of each wing, plus 4 machine guns right in front of the cockpit, and then it had basically mortar shells on both sides of the underside of the fuselage, and then there were several mortar shells underneath the lower wing. The problem is it kept going up and up and up. It produced so much lift that it just kept going up. No one has ever reported finding the wreckage of it, I doubt it continued going into the sky. Eventually it was going to have to come down, but the wreckage is probably in Germany or France or
On the moon.
on the moon, who knows, but nobody's ever reported finding the wreckage of it. But once I got back down to the ground, I got sent back to the infantry. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know about what I did during the First World War.